Good morning everyone, this is Northern Goblin, and today I'm going to be doing a Stratholme farm video guide for prop paladins. Now I know that there are a ton of these already on the internet, but I like to do my own because I want to go into a deep dive on certain things that other videos don't cover, and also just a couple of little tips and tricks that I've picked up that guides didn't have at the time. I'm going to be doing my voiceover as I'm doing this. The whole thing is going in one take. So if there are any wipes, you get to laugh at my expense. Hopefully there won't be any. But first, before we start, I'm just going to be talking gear, consumables, optional, talents, buffs and such. So if you want to just skip ahead to the action, I'd probably go about 2 or 3 minutes ahead in this video. If I'm still chatting, I'm sure I'll be wrapped up by then. Anyway, first off, gear. Now, my gear is pretty much top end of what you're going to get in Phase 1, but there are a couple of key points I just want to highlight. First off is the figurine of the Colossus. You are going to absolutely want this as you're starting out. You're going to want this at even at really well geared levels. You're going to want this probably even when we're in Phase 3 and 4 and you're running around in Tier 6. Just as an insurance policy, it does exactly as you can read. The shield block rating isn't really necessary at this stage, but the on-use that heals you for every block, when you're pulling what's going to be close to about 200 mobs, 100 to plus mobs at a time per go, those blocks are going to stack up really quickly and you'll see your health go up very, very fast. The next thing is Library of the Eternal Rest. You can get this in normal or heroic Sethicals, so you can farm it to your heart's content. It increases the damage of your consecration spell. Now, the damage increase isn't massive, but it helps, and Consecrate's going to be your biggest source of output here. Whereas most paladins will obviously be for raiding using the block Libram that comes on Holy Shield, you're not going to be using Holy Shield in this run. Purely because there's no point, the charges will get eaten up too fast, and you don't need that extra block anyway. The rest of it is a mixture of mitigation and spell power gear. Spell power obviously going to help you get through this a lot faster, kills faster. You're going to want mitigation gear purely for the extra parry and dodge occasionally. Parry here is exceptionally really nice, and we'll go into that why in a minute. I'm not using maximum spell gear. I could. I'm being a bit lazy and using most of my raid setup. The only other thing I'd want to talk about is the shield. Now, everybody's obviously not going to have the Gruul shield or even the Nightbane shield, and there's talk about two other shields. There's Skullflame shield and there's the Sporogar shield. Skullflame shield on a lot of servers is going to cost you quite a bit of cash, which is counterintuitive to what you're doing. And to be fair, with figurine and with knowing how the pulls work after a couple of practices, it's going to be a crutch that you'll never need. Now, the Sporogar shield, especially at really low end gear, when your spell power isn't too great, is really worth using. I recommend it. The poison proc stacks upon everybody really fast, and it helps you. It just helps by probably 1, maybe 2 consecration casts. Alright, talents. I'm using the 4021 raid spec. There's a couple of variations I've got on it. I drop in points of anticipation because I don't need it for defense or crush cap. I drop kings and I drop a point in improved holy shield because I like having 5/5 rec. However, the main point in this build for running here is Sanctity Aura. Sanctity Aura is going to be your main pump. It's worth way more than Retribution Aura, even with improved Retribution Aura. Obviously, picking up Pursuit of Justice is a big one as well for mobility around here, and Crusade is pretty nice, but it's not the biggest thing in the world. Sanctity Aura is your main bread and butter in this run. There is a build that doesn't go into combat expertise, doesn't go into Holy Shield, doesn't go into Sacred Duty, and kind of stops at one-hand specialization, and goes all the way and takes Vengeance. Now, I've run this build. I wouldn't run this build to tank anything else in the world, but it's really great if you're going to be running Stratholme a lot, especially again at low gear. your white hits will crit far more than you expect, and you'll have the stack up very, very quickly. So you end up with another 5% bonus towards spell damage. Well, holy damage. So your consecrates will pump out even harder. For a low level, this is a really, really good clutch spell. Anyway, lastly, consumables. Completely optional. I like to use them, mostly because these things are dirt cheap on my auction house. I have a ton of these through being an enchanter. I've got a ton of these in my bank to still use, and I fish like a junkie. Try and have as much empty bag space as possible. You're going to find out very quickly why if you've never done this run before. But try and have as much bag space as possible for loot. Also, being an engineer, I know these are expensive. There are the cheaper versions, but I had a bunch of these still left over from when I was leveling, so I tend to have these around both for the repair and for the vendor option. Also, side note, if you do use the 110G ones and you are raiding on a prop Paladin, do check for the agility and the armor scrolls when they turn up in there, because you can use the armor and agility scrolls in raids. They stack with all buffs. You can also have the strength scroll to stack your white hits, but it's mostly the agility scroll for dodge and the armor one for the extra mitigation. Alright, that chat at the start took way longer than I expected. Last bit of business to attend to. Your main buffs are going to be Righteous Fury for the damage mitigation, and you're going to want to use Blessing of Sanctuary. The damage reduction is so good, it's not even worth talking about Wisdom or any other buff. Potion wise, you can, if you want to pop a destruction potion, you can. If you're a bit lower on, you might want to use mana or healing potions, but as you're going to see in this run, they're not going to be really needed. If you get your if you balance your seals right, you're not going to be needing to use potions. Maybe again lower end, you might want to pop a mana potion, but you're better off maybe using the ones that you get in here. Last thing to pick up, Stratholme Holy Water. You're going to get a lot of it running this place. It's also really good for your Karazhan runs, so stockpile it up. Anyway, let's restart the timers. Restart this current session. We'll restart the timer just so you can see. This is going to be a lot faster than the. You're going to want to get this run done in under 15 minutes. This is going to be a lot quicker than that. And we'll talk about optionals that you can do to make sure that you don't end up running out of saved instances and you hit the instance cap. Anyway, first pack. A lot of people talk about pulling with Exorcism. I always like to do the first one with Turn Evil because you got a chance to get the cast off. Hit the other pack on the far side with the Exorcism and start running. Now, there's no Berserkers near me, there's just one at the back there. Berserkers can hit you with Hamstring. They're the worst thing to go for. As you're coming past this area here, look for Hearthsinger Forestrin. He's not there, so we can just skip that. If you're boosting, by the way, you're going to want to pull those two over there just to make sure that all your boosties can get by safely. Right. Juggle Seal of Light and Wisdom as and when you need it. I can get away with using Wings here because I'm not going to use Divine Shield, but some people may find that they're going to need the Divine Shield boost. And at this point, pop my trinket, get smashed in the air at the timing of it, which is brilliant. I'm going to want to swap chat over here, because in a moment you're going to see why. There we go. As the Ravage cadavers happen, you've got to make sure, if your consecrate ticks aren't high enough and can't kill them in a single go, while they're still spawning, you're going to want to back away from here, moved off to the side. I mean, my consecrates were killing them before they even had a chance to act, but Ravage cadavers, when they come as broken cadavers, are going to be the one thing that can kill your run very quickly. They explode on you for about 800 each. There's not a great deal you can do about it, other than move away and hope your consecrate finishes them off. Otherwise, you're going to be kiting with consecrates a little bit. Anyway, as you saw there, I didn't need to shield. I got enough healing off the figurine, and my damage output was fast enough that the mobs died. Gotta be honest, it wasn't the cleanest of pulls for me, but uh, yeah, so I can get away with using wings. That's something you're going to have to figure out on your own, especially in low gears. You're probably going to want to save the Divine Shield rather than risk forbearance on wings, unless you pop wings slightly early, so your cooldown's already starting before you start the AoE. Your forbearance debuffs going off before you start the AoE, just to get a bit of damage at the start. It's going to be one of those things that you're going to have to find that one out on your own. Certainly as you get more gear, your reliance on it is going to drop less and less. As you saw, I was juggling a lot of Seal and Light, Seal of Wisdom, and Judgment of Light and Judgment of Wisdom, mostly on the Patchwork Horror. The reason was it works so well is because all the mobs that are hitting me, or not hitting me and hitting parry, are giving me parry haste, which means that my swings go a lot faster. As you can see, awful lot of stuff to loot here. There's a couple of supply crates here that can reward you. There's a couple at the back there as well. I'll show you on the way out the rest of the ones you can pick up. Did manage to get those guys good. Like I said, these two, if you're doing a boost run, because this is a really good way of making gold, if you're doing a boost run, these two here do need to be picked off so that when you're starting the second pull, which is other side of these gates, they're not going to just gnaw on the low levels that you're dragging through. So as soon as we come through these gates, sometimes that's an unlocked chest. If you're a blacksmith or I guess an engineer with lots of old C4ium charges, you can always pick that one. I wouldn't really recommend it. The material cost is probably higher than what you're going to get inside. Another couple of boxes here, supply crates that you can pick up on the way. Don't really think you're going to be using them coming back with them though, so we'll pull that berserker at the back. Again, if you get berserkers that get too close to you, that's a really good target for your Hammer of Justice. Their hamstrings can really mess up your run. That's at the point where you start swapping from Blessing of Sank to Blessing of Freedom. Come around the corner here, pick up this pack. Frostbolts are the other ones that are a bit of a pain in the ass, but Cleanse can easily remove those. And we'll pull this Patchwork Horror. I like to try and get everything into this corner here. Now what I'm going to do is let my mana burn down low and keep myself rolling here with Seal of Light and Judgment of Light. Also, if you have an Eye of Magtheridon, by the way, I don't know if you've been watching the buffs pop up on mine, but it's a really good trinket here. Because of the amount of mobs that you're pulling, the 1% chance for failure comes up really high. Okay, so the Patchwork Horror is about to die. I'm low on mana, so I'm going to swap to Seal of Wisdom and just hope that I can melee enough things. This is why I have auto attack still on my bars, by the way, because every time you kill something, sometimes you'll just stop dropping. You'll stop the auto attack entirely. So it's good to have it on your bars just to reinitiate while you're AoE grinding, because while you're trying to tab, you can try to click on things, but when there's this many mobs, looting doesn't necessarily, looting can get in the way, and it will screw you over when you're trying to attack. So that's your second pull, covers that whole area there. Now, as everybody's least favourite part of this dungeon is the annoying gates of rats. You see, I've picked up a couple of scrolls here. Scroll of Protection is really good. Also, if you pick up the odd mana potion, just to kill your downtime between drinking as such, they don't sell greatly vendor-wise, so there's no shame in popping those just to save you some time, a few seconds of drink time. Also, in this area, you have, apart from the two crates that you had up ahead, there's sometimes a crate here, there's a crate here, there's a crate over there, and there's two crates in this area here, for those of you who are also wanting to pick up Stratholme Holy Water. You're also going to get a lot of mana and healing potions through those. They are even worse mana potions than the major ones. They're the really old. I think it's the superior. I can't remember off the top of my head. In any case, you want to probably use those as well, just to kill your downtime. Potion cooldowns are going to be available quite a lot, and there's no shame in popping them. It's a tiny, tiny loss on your overall gold total, but it's no biggie. Okay, you come through here. Most efficient way to do this is wait for all 3 packs of rats. There's the middle one and the both sides. Get all 3. At my point, at my level, 1 consecrate clears the lot out. Job done. And there was plenty of time spare, so for most of you, 1 consecrate will do it easily. It'll also save on your downtime for drinking. Now this is the last pull. Now depending on how fast you're going, I mean I'm only at 8 minutes into this run, and I've got 7 minutes to do this pull. Depending on how fast you're going, you're either going to want to start with this pack here. You're going to maybe want to go, see if I can sneak past here carefully. Ah, success, a working crate. You're going to either want to start with this pack here. You might even want to go further and take the one around the corner, or if you're really, really high up on gear, you're going to want to go all the way into the courtyard, if not even into the bastion. I now go all the way into the bastion. It's a risky pull, but it certainly is worth it. For today, we'll just stick with the undead, so we'll start with the berserker. In theory, in hindsight, I should have feared that one, but never mind. I do want my exorcism cooldown back soon, because Hearthsinger should be somewhere around here. If he's going to spawn, there he is. Pick him up. Okay, so I've just picked up the hamstring. Now, for lower geared people, that's going to be a death sentence if you just let it run off. For me, I just turn around, block for a bit, wait for the debuff to wear off, save myself the cast, carry on running. Get hit by a second hamstring. This is a bit of a risk. I'm going to have to pop my trinket slightly early here. Got very low there, as you can see, but I'm fine. That's one of those spots where especially you want to be saving your bubble, but thankfully we didn't need it, so we can swap over to double wisdom and AoE everything down. That's one of the things that as you gear up and as you get more gear, that's one of the things you can get away with. I certainly wouldn't recommend trying to do it like that with starting gear or even middle to heroics, early Karasan stuff. That's one of the points where you definitely want to be hitting freedom, especially if you've gone and then also, if I'd pulled the Scarlet pulls, I would have been in a bit more trouble. I would have definitely had to consider using my bubble, freedom, and maybe even lay on hands towards the tail end. Anyway, we're all good. Gotta watch for the cadavers dying. Don't let your consecrate just drop off like I have for no reason there, because the cadavers will absolutely screw with your run. Anyway, that's the whole run with looting. It's going to be about 11 minutes. But that was including time to just stop and point out a couple of things along the way. So yeah, this is the general run. It's these 3 pulls. You come back round now, you'll loop round. There's a couple of mobs on the way that you don't pick up, which it's going to be a pain in the ass for your boosties, I know, but you can just always kill those afterwards while they're running out. Other than that, you can find me as Falshire on Hydroxian Waterlords Europe. You can also find me as Falshire on the Light Club Discord, and Northern Goblin here and on Twitter. Last quick talk about gold. If you're an enchanter, the blues can be sharded and sell quite well. If you are like me and you're also going really, really fast, you can convert rune cloth into rune cloth bandages. They'll vendor higher if rune cloth just doesn't sell on your server. A couple of other supply crate points that I'm just showing you here. There's sometimes one there, there's one there. Unfortunately, on my server, people seem to be allergic to making money, so yeah, large brilliant shards aren't worth squat now, so it's just faster for me to vendor for the instant gratification. Anyway, I tend to do 2 runs uh, through before doing a repair and vendor. As you can see, my shield's already taken quite a bit of a beating. If you're using, especially if you're using the Sporogar shield, 2 runs is going to be enough before it breaks. Anyway, I hope this video was interesting for you. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, or like I said, you can catch me on the previously mentioned socials or in-game. And that's going to be it for all for now. If there are any other videos you want to see, again, let me know, and I'll see what I can do. Alright, farewell from me. Bye bye.